All right, this is for the people that like numbers. We're just looking at the book of Genesis. This is the King James Version, the authorized version. This is why I love reading my King James Bible. You have this first heading here, the creation. This is 39 words, which coincides with the idea that there are actually 39 books in the Old Testament. In the second paragraph, we have 50 words, which coincides with Pentecost, the number 50. Third paragraph, the second day, is 66 words, which also coincides with 66 books of the Bible. So you got 39, 50, and then you got 66, which is kind of interesting. Fourth paragraph takes you to 125 words, which takes you to Psalm 25. And then you have 133 words, which when you look at Psalm 133, it talks about unity. Then if you go here, the fifth day, you have 96, which is interesting because you can actually flip the 6 and the 9. And over here on the sixth day, you have actually 64 words here. There's lots of stuff that you can talk about with the number 64. 64 is the square of 8 and the cube of 4, which is kind of interesting because this is the sixth day of creation. And then we also get 64 is also the first whole number, which is greater than 1, that is both a perfect square and a perfect cube. So 64 is a super perfect number. You get 64 like when you're playing chess. There's 64 squares on the board. We get 64-bit computing. We had the Commodore 64 back in the day, at least back in my day. And then we have Nintendo 64. If you want to stack up, items in Minecraft, you can only stack 64 items. Like, there is all kinds of crazy stuff with regards to patterns, numbers, and all this. This is just, really, this is only like the first chapter. So imagine going through the whole Bible like that. Probably take you a long time. But my point is, when you get to the creation of man and you count out all those numbers, it actually takes you to Psalm 118. And I'm just going to read a portion of Psalm 118 real quick. The last part of it, which is interesting because it kind of looks like we're talking about man being kicked out of the Garden of Eden. So the voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the tabernacles of the righteous. The right hand of the Lord doth valiantly. The right hand of the Lord is exalted. The right hand of the Lord doeth valiantly. I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. The Lord has chastened me sore, but he hath not given me over unto death. Just kind of interesting. Like if you go back up to verse 13, thou hast thrust sore at me that I might fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and song, and is become my salvation. Which is very fascinating because shortly thereafter, a couple chapters later, man falls and gets kicked out of the Garden of Eden, which is very interesting. It talks about God's mercy endures forever. That is basically the whole message of Psalm 118. Like it's just basically it's all over the place here. Better to trust in the Lord than have confidence in princes. Like God said, do not touch or do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Which is, like, if you read Psalm 118, like, it is crazy how much that ties in with the creation of man. And then the next thing is, we get Psalm 119, one of the longest chapters in the book of Psalms. And this is where King David actually uses this psalm, or used this psalm, to teach King Solomon the Hebrew alphabet. That's interesting in itself. Anyways, hopefully you got something out of this. Subscribe and feel free to comment. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.